Here, we are delighted tonight that the first honoree we're going to present to you is the winner of the Dave Schultz Excellence Award, the High School Excellence Award, which is given annually to the one wrestler in the nation who best embodies excellence in wrestling, scholastic achievement, character, citizenship, and community service. David Taylor of Graham High School in St. Paris, Ohio, is the 2009 recipient. David is a four-time state champion with a record of 180 wins and 2 losses. Of those 182 matches, he won 65 by fall and 91 by technical fall. In 4 years, only 19 of his matches lasted the full 3 periods, and of those he won 7 by major decisions. Twice an ASICS All-American first team member, twice named Ohio Wrestler of the Year, he's been recognized by as the nation's best wrestler by Amateur Wrestling News and USA Wrestling Magazine. He is the first ever 4-time winner of the Walsh Ironman tournament and represented Team USA in the Dream Team Classic and the Dapper Dan. Equally as successful in international styles, he won multiple cadet and junior national freestyle Greco-Roman championships and the FILA Junior National Championship. And he placed 8th in the Junior World Championships in Beijing. Now remember, this is not just about wrestling. An outstanding student, David maintained a 4-point grade point average and ranked in the top 10 of his graduating class. And by the way, he was the first student at his school to study Chinese as an online course. David has also been active in 4-H for years, and served as a club officer. He's won numerous county fair championships and is an Ohio State champion barrel racer. And I didn't know what that meant, so if you'd like to know what that means, David will explain it to you, as he did for me. He was chosen to serve as a camp counselor for the Jeff Jordan State Champ Camps and has actively helped the youth wrestling program in his community. David's parents and his sister are not with us this evening because his sister, who is a sophomore this year, qualified for the state track tournament and ran in the tournament today. So they stayed with her to support her there. So it's a family of athletes, but ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to present to you the Dave Schultz High School Excellence Award winner for 2009, David Taylor. As a competitor, Chuck Yagla reached the heights. But for generations of collegiate wrestlers, he's known not for what he did to opponents, but for what he did with the whistle around his neck. Chuck was a 3-time All-American, a 2-time national champion, an outstanding wrestler at the 1976 NCAA tournament, wrestling for the University of Iowa. He dominated the U.S. freestyle scene for several years, winning 4 National Open titles, and fresh out of college, was the alternate on the 1976 Olympic team. He also won gold and silver medals in the World Cup and finished 2nd in the prestigious Tbilisi tournament in Russia. In 1980, he earned a spot on the U.S. boycotted Moscow Olympic Games. Beginning in 1983, Chuck spent 24 years as an NCAA official, gaining the respect of coaches and competitors nationwide. 5 times he was selected to referee NCAA Division I finals matches, and he officiated 6 NCAA Division II national championships. The Big Ten and the Pac-10 conferences counted on him for their conference championships for over 20 years. He also was a referee for 2 NWCA All-Star meets and was selected as an official for the national duels 12 times. He hung up his whistle after the NCAA championships in 2007, but last summer He was appointed coordinator of wrestling officials for both the Big Ten and the Big 12 conferences. Chuck works for a public relations firm in Waterloo, Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame is honored to present the Lifetime Achievement Award for Officials to Chuck Yagla. And here, Arno Niemand is so passionate about our sport that he has devoted significant portions of his time, creativity, and financial resources to wrestling for most of his adult life. His love affair with wrestling began in the early 1950s as a prep at Mearsburg Academy and team captain for Phillips Academy. He earned a varsity spot at Cornell University, helping his team to a third-place finish for the 1953 NCAA championships. After earning his bachelor's from Cornell in 1956 and his master's from the University of Virginia, Arno went to work for Niemand Industries, a specialty packing company. He became president and CEO, serving in that position for 20 years before becoming chairman for 5 more. In 1990, he founded Body Bar Systems, a producer of fitness products sold around the world, and the lead sponsor of USA Wrestling's women's national team, helping to pioneer the sport through its first 2 Olympiads. He was also a driving force in Cornell's recent resurgence and instrumental in helping the school build a new wrestling facility. He's been a financial supporter of the National Wrestling Coaches Association Building Leaders for Life program. He's also supported the College Sports Council in its battle for true gender fairness in sports, the New York Athletic Club, and the Mercerburg Academy's wrestling program, and has been a longtime board member of Excel Wrestling Club in Colorado. At a time when our sport has needed more energy and support than ever before, he has been there to provide it. For his efforts on behalf of wrestling, he was awarded the Fila Gold Star for 2008, the highest award granted by the international governing body. And now, ladies and gentlemen, gaining the award of Order of Merit from the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Mr. Arno Niemand.
Stand by it, yeah.
Look at those biceps.
Larry Gibson. Now, Larry was just 12 years old when a drunk driver struck him down. Nearly 2 years of hospitalization and a dozen surgeries later, his leg was amputated 7 inches below the knee. Doctors told him his athletic career was over, but he didn't agree. He not only wrestled, he played defensive end and kicker on his high school football team. He continued both sports, and in wrestling he earned 4 letters and served as the team captain for 2 years at George Fox College in Oregon. With degrees in sociology and psychology, Larry began working for the Department of Social and Health Services in Omak and Spokane, Washington, working with mentally challenged youngsters and volunteering as a wrestling coach. In 1973, he was on a small plane that crashed high over a mountain pass in Washington. As he and his fellow passengers trudged through the waist-high snow, hampered by his seriously damaged artificial leg and their broken bones, he made up his mind to return to school to become an educator. Teaching history, he's forged winning records as a wrestling coach at Omak High School and Omak Middle School. A club coach since 1972, he's been voted Washington's Coach of the Year, was named to the state chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, and received his USA Wrestling Gold Level Coach's Certificate. He currently coaches Patriot Wrestling, a freestyling Greco-Roman club. He's used his life experiences to become a nationally known motivational speaker, preaching a message of positive attitude, perseverance, and putting as much living into each day as possible. What better representative of wrestling? Ladies and gentlemen, Medal of Courage winner, Larry Gibson. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I lost the mic. I think we're okay now, right? An entrepreneur since his college days, Steve Silver decided in 1987 to go into the furniture business. In a 10,000 square foot building in Forney, Texas, the Steve Silver Company, an import furniture business specializing in designing sets and occasional furniture, was born. Today, the company encompasses over 500,000 square feet of facilities, has grown to 150 million in sales, and employs over 500 people, not only in Texas, but in China, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam. Steve's business philosophy reflects the same drive and competitive spirit he learned in the wrestling room, and that is, provide the best quality product at an irresistible price, back it up with uncompromising service, and continue to improve every day. He began as a high school wrestler in Spencerport, New York, where he won 2 sectional championships. He didn't plan to wrestle in college, but changed his mind and walked on at the University of Alabama under Coach Pat Milkovich. 3 years later, when the Crimson Tide dropped wrestling, Steve believed his involvement in the sport was done. A trip to the NCAA championships in 1989 piqued his interest again. Then his son Luke expressed his desire to wrestle. Wrestling opportunities in Texas were scarce. So Steve founded and coached a youth wrestling club in Forney, hiring Olympic gold medalist Kenny Monday to help coach. And then he began to support Bishop Lynch High School, helping it to become a nationally known program. He was instrumental in bringing the National Wrestling Coaches Association All-Star Classic to Texas for the first time, and serves on a committee to bring intercollegiate wrestling to the University of Texas. For 4 straight years, including the last Olympics in Beijing, Steve has served as team leader for the U.S. freestyle team. For his efforts, he was honored with the USA Wrestling's Man of the Year Award for 2006, the NWCA's Dan Gable America Needs Wrestling Award for 2007, and was inducted into the New York Section 5 Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame is proud to award the 2009 Outstanding American Honor to Mr. Steve Silver. Distinguished member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, never made his high school team. But by the time he graduated from college, Peter Steele Blair had made a name for himself in wrestling. He joined the U.S. Navy and was chosen to attend the Naval Academy Preparatory School. 2 years later, he'd grown over 7 inches and gone undefeated at 177 pounds. In 4 years on the U.S. Naval Academy's varsity team, he lost just 5 matches and won back-to-back NCAA championships at 191 in 1954 and 1955. Team captain as a senior, he earned the Naval Academy's prestigious Thompson Award as the midshipman who contributed most to the promotion of athletics, but he wasn't finished. Ensign Blair remained at the Academy to train for the 1956 Olympic trials. First, though, he pinned 5 consecutive opponents to capture the AAU National Freestyle title. 2 weeks later, he earned a berth on the team bound for Melbourne. As captain of the Olympic team, he won a bronze medal. He served his country on submarines, ships, and in academy classrooms, retiring with the rank of commander. He joined Pacific Ordnance and Electronics and managed company activities in Taiwan and Rio de Janeiro. In 1981, he joined Marinette Marine Shipyard, eventually becoming vice president of marketing. He passed away in 1994 after a brief battle with cancer. As a man who served both his sport and his country with distinction, the late Peter Steele Blair is honored as a distinguished member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Few names stand out more than that of Edward Baxter Eichelberger, Lehigh's first two-time NCAA wrestling champion and one of just 3 Lehigh wrestlers to be named Outstanding Wrestler at the NCAAs. A native of Norfolk, he was undefeated in winning 3 state championships for Granby High School. He amassed a career record of 55-3-1 at Lehigh University, and was the school's first 3-time All-American. Now in 1954, he lost in the national finals to Oklahoma's A&M, and you might remember this name, Myron Roderick. But it was the last time Ed would lose. As a junior, he captured the NCAA title at 147 pounds and earned Outstanding Wrestler honors. The next year, he repeated as undefeated champion. He also earned a pair of EIWA titles and Outstanding Wrestler awards. He still ranks second in Lehigh records with 37 falls and holds the school record with 8 consecutive wins by fall and 8 falls in NCAA tournament competition. Now, I hope you're noticing as you hear the reading of these awards and these honors that our distinguished Americans have received, that they have all gone on to outstanding careers with wrestling as a basis. They are all outstanding Americans from that perspective. Ed, for example, earned his degree in electrical engineering and later a master's and PhD from Princeton. Until his retirement in 1994, he worked for IBM, where his accomplishments were almost as impressive as his MAT credentials. In 38 years, he received 25 patents in the field of chip, circuit, and test design, and received IBM's Outstanding Contributor Award for technical publications and patents. Ladies and gentlemen, as a competitor of outstanding achievement, Edward Baxter Eichelberger is honored as a distinguished member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. From the time this young man was a very young wrestler, it was clear that Les Gutches was destined for greatness. As a cadet, he won a national Greco-Roman title and a silver medal in the World Championships. From that point on, until he retired from competition, Les won a national championship in either freestyle or Greco-Roman wrestling in every age group: cadet, junior, espoir, university, and senior, and became the first competitor in USA Wrestling history to do so. He competed in the World Championships in 4 different age groups, adding an espoir bronze medal to his collection in 1993. A 3-time state champion for South Medford High School in Oregon, Les earned NCAA All-American honors 3 times with back-to-back titles for Oregon State. In his final 2 years, only one opponent scored a takedown against him. After 69 straight victories, he won the NCAA Outstanding Wrestler Award and the Hodge Trophy as the best collegiate wrestler of 1996. He finished 7th in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. I want to know if you were listening. But the following year, deep in the heart of Russia, he won the gold medal in his first world championship. After a 7th place world finish in 1998, Les again reached the podium in 1999, winning a world bronze. He won his 5th straight U.S. national freestyle title in 2000. Les is now a commercial lender for Citizens Bank in Corvallis, Oregon. Ladies and gentlemen, for his stellar performance at every level and in every style of wrestling, Les Gutches is honored as
Jeff. Let's get a quick one. Jeff. Jeff.
I'm pissed. I blew that one. I got the wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man never won a high school state championship, but that didn't keep Dennis Koslowski from making history. Wrestling alongside his twin brother Dwayne at Dolan High School in South Dakota, Dennis twice finished 3rd in the state wrestling championships, and after high school was a 3-time All-American and won 2 NCAA Division III titles for the University of Minnesota Morris at 190 pounds in 1980 and in 1982 at heavyweight. And the reason I emphasize the 2 is that they discovered tonight that his name is on 3 in a row and his brothers should be in the middle one as the heavyweight champion.
Oops.
In football, by the way, he was also all-conference 3 times. But after graduating, Dennis stayed in Minnesota for chiropractic school and began wrestling Greco-Roman, a style in which he'd never competed before. But he won the first of 7 USA Wrestling national titles by 1983. In 1983. By 1987, he'd won a world silver medal. In 1988, he won the Olympic trials and earned a trip to the Seoul Games. At the Olympics, wrestling 100 kilograms, he won the bronze, the best performance on the U.S. team. Now, he retired from wrestling to become USA Wrestling's first full-time Greco-Roman national coach. And in 1989, he led the USA to a 6th place finish in the World Championships. A year later, he returned to Minnesota to start his own chiropractic practice. But he returned to the mats in 1991, and at the 1991 World Championships, although he did not surrender an offensive point, he placed 7th. In his opening match at the 1992 Barcelona Olympic Games, he defeated the defending Olympic champion. In a hard-fought overtime battle, he lost to a Cuban world champion to earn the silver, becoming the first ever U.S. Greco-Roman wrestler to win 2 Olympic medals. Now, he not only has his own chiropractic practice, but he is also the team chiropractor for the Minnesota Vikings. I hope they're not doing very well physically when they play the Bears. But I'm going to cite editorializing there, right? Ladies and gentlemen, for his history, making efforts in Greco-Roman wrestling in the United States, we honor, as a distinguished member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Dennis Koslowski.